Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Navorikickblades here. Your #1 league creator for making spicy, wacky, unusual builds. And lately, I've been one-tricking BRIAR. I know a lot of you guys have been playing BRIAR. I've certainly been playing BRIAR. And so we're going to show you today a game. We're going to go through a full game replay. And we're also going to go over different variations on this build. And we'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this build. So this is what's known as the Navorikickblade Classic. This build focuses on extremely low cooldowns. So you're going to have very high uptime on your abilities. And why is that strong? So let's go ahead and check out a couple of variations. First, let's look at the damage I was able to put out on this build. Top damage, 31k. We also tanked a considerable amount of damage, even though this is a relatively squishy build. You can see that it's pulling out some numbers as far as tanking goes, and it earned the most gold in the game. So this particular game was especially good for me. So I don't always play well. I don't always have good games like this, so I wanted to share it with you guys, show you. I feel like it showcased a real perfect example of how this build can pop off and how you can go crazy with this build. So let's talk about some different runes and items. So right here, I have a couple of variations on the runes and items that you can take. So up in the upper left here, we have basically the hyper 1v9 carry build. So this is the type of build that I would go if I am super fed, snowballing, and it doesn't seem like any of the enemies have any way to counter my damage and my tempo. So as you can see, this first one in the upper left has no defensive items whatsoever. It is full damage, full attack speed, a little bit of crit, a little bit on hit. Now, the reason why this build works, let me explain this to you. So the core of this build is Spear of Shojin and Navori Flickerblades. So those two items right there allow BRIAR to enter what is known as sicko mode, aka Earth mode, aka you are spamming your abilities. Now, why is that important on BRIAR? So for a couple of reasons. When we're put into frenzy, we lose control of our champions, right? So there's only a few ways to control BRIAR when she's in frenzy state. So one is your Q. Your Q can direct to the target that you're going to frenzy on. The other is E can cancel the frenzy outright. And then to some extent you can use the W again to direct your frenzy to a closer target. So moral of the story is, a lot of times when you're playing BRIAR, you are spending a lot of time waiting for your E to come up, or scared to go in because your E's not up, or you use your Q on the initial target, but then someone starts kiting you away. So this build can help with a lot of that, because you are given more agency with this build because your cooldowns are up quicker. Therefore, you're able to direct the frenzy more frequently. So that's a little snapshot of what this build is trying to accomplish. And we'll go over the different variations of this build. So there's a lot of different items that BRIAR can build, and that's what's awesome about her. We love her for that. This champion is super fun because you can build almost any item viably on her. So the core of this build, again, is Shojin Flickerblades. Those two items reduce your basic ability cooldowns by a considerable amount. Now, as you can see, the first build I have here, upper left, hyper carry 1v9. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. This is a ton of damage, a ton of on hit. So this I would only go if I am snowballing the game. It is well and truly beyond the enemy's scope to contain me. Okay, that's option number one. Now the second one in the top, we have the tank shredder build. Now this, you sometimes are forced into this build because unfortunately, if the enemy team has a giant tank that's building full health and building full armor, and they have, Bramble Vests and Randuin's Omens and everything else, unfortunately, there's no other way to win the game but build this build. You have to build Black Cleaver, and you have to build Blade of the Ruined King. This is how you're going to punch through those beefy tanks in the front line. A lot of times, you know, if there's a tank that's fed and you don't have those two items, a Bork and Black Cleaver, you're just absolutely screwed. Now, the good news is if you build those two items, you're going to be able to shred through any tank, no problem, no questions asked. Your cooldowns are going to be so low, you'll win every trade. Okay, so that's option number 2. Option number 3. Now, this one here, the full magic resist build. This is very helpful into tanks, or excuse me, mages. So there's a lot of magic damage on the enemy team. So I think one thing that comes into mind is when I have to lane against Heimerdinger, boom, this is the build that I'm going to be building. Okay, Spirit Visage, like 3rd is great because you're going to be healing a ton because your W2 is up a ton, your E is up a ton, so that Spirit Visage comes in super clutch. I personally like Kanik Ruker, and I know it's you know, maybe not the most optimal item, but if there's 3 or 4 ability powered dealing champions on the enemy team, I love Kanik Ruker, and it's the highest magic resist you can get in the game, and it really shuts down those mages. So again, I put Wit's End in there too, but that's optional. You can switch that out for whatever magic resist item or even another damage item, because let's face it, by the time you have your Spirit Visage and your Kanik Ruker, you're probably set against the mages. So anyway, there's a lot of variation in these builds, I want to reiterate. So then we move down. Right below the magic resist build is the armor build. So this is for a situation where there are a ton of 80 assassins, or the 80 carries really fed, or just in general the enemy team has more attack damage than ability power. So if you need the armor, these are the armor items that I like to go: Death Stance, Plated Steel Caps. GA is kind of, you know, on the fence sometimes. If you like GA, that's great. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can have your opinions about GA. And then the other item, this is a little bit spicy, but the Zhonya's. Now I know what you're thinking. What, Zhonya's on BRIAR? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, it does. Here's why. Because she has insane AP ratios, and the Arm Seeker's Guard, the stasis that Zhonya's provides, is actually huge. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but how many times have you shot an R into a team fight? You know, you shoot the BRIAR R, you come in, and immediately first thing that happens is the enemy team dumps a bunch of CC, a bunch of huge spells right on top of your head, okay? So here's the deal with Zhonya's. You hit the R, you fly in, you can either immediately stasis or hold it for a moment, and in that 2.25 seconds of stasis that Zhonya's provides, the enemies will most likely have dumped all their abilities on you, which you will have dodged by being invulnerable. And then when you're done being invulnerable, you will still be in your ultimate's frenzy. So whatever target you hit before the Zhonya's, you're still going to be madmanning it towards that target. So Zhonya's actually has a huge outplay potential for our champion. Do not overlook it. Do not underrate it. Okay, so that's that build. And then the last one, this is the spiciest one. This is something I've been cooking up more recently. I don't really have a scenario in which you want to build this one, but it does work. Okay, so Shadow Flame makes all magic damage and true damage critically strike if they're under 40% health. With BRIAR, with this build, you're going to be putting enemies below 40% health easily and frequently all the time. So basically, your Shadow Flame is going to be critting every Q you have, and you're going to be having a lot of Qs because your cooldowns are so low. It's also going to crit your Rage Blade on hit passive. It's also going to crit your ultimate. It's also going to crit your E, your fully charged E, or your tap E. So Shadow Flame has like pretty big value on BRIAR. So this is a hybrid build. Definitely very spicy, but I promise you it works. So on the topic of runes, we can just go back here and check out the runes. So as you can see, lethal tempo is the way to go. The lethal tempo allows you to attack more. You get an extended, elongated fights. Your lethal tempo ramps up. Your Rage Blade ramps up. And you start doing incredible amounts of on-hit damage. And you have insane attack speed. So lethal tempo is a must for me. You can go press the attack. I'm sure it works great. But lethal tempo is what I do. So Triumph, is absolutely necessary, or at least it's very helpful. Triumph will save your life many times. You get one kill, you just survive with a little bit of health from the Triumph that helps you get a second kill. And as you can see in this game here, I got total bonus gold granted, 420. Nice. Legend Haste. This one, to be honest, you can swap this out for any of the other ones. You can get the Legend Bloodline, you can get the Legend Alacrity. Those are both fine. This is kind of a personal preference here if you want this one. Coup de grace, I always take coup de grace. Now, if I go into an enemy team comp where I just know I won't be full health, I know I'm guaranteed to take a ton of damage just by playing the game, I might swap coup de grace out to Last Stand. So that's that. Now, I don't usually take the other option, Cut Down, because Cut Down was dramatically nerfed a few months ago. It no longer does anything meaningfully against tanks, so don't take Cut Down. Now, the green runes here, these are huge too, because this build is extremely squishy. I don't know if you can see this. It only has one health item that you're going to be building every game. 450 bonus health is basically nothing. Okay, so that's why I take these green runes. The unflinching, 130 seconds of combat with this up, so you're having bonus resistances almost the majority of the game. Conditioning, after 12 minutes, you get a bunch more bonus resistances. So, and then when you hit R, your R gives you bonus resistances. So this is how you'll be surviving in those fights, is with these green runes. So if you don't have the green runes, unfortunately, you pretty much get one-tapped immediately. So that's the runes. That's the logic behind them. And that's the build. Now, let's jump into the actual game itself that I played here. So this was a ranked match. I was going top. Top is my preferred role. And I'll just try to narrate and go over my thought process during this game and what I'm looking for and how this build plays out. So I don't always start Doran's blade. Sometimes I will go Doran's shield. So if I'm into, say, a Heimerdinger or some kind of mage, so here you can see he choked me out, he cheesed me in the bush. I'm just going to take a quick reset. I have enough time to get back before minions come. So now Aatrox is actually a very difficult matchup. So this particular game, I was attempting to play very safe. I was playing this live on stream. It was a ranked match with buddies. Aatrox can absolutely destroy BRIAR in the top lane. So I was trying to be a little more cautious, a little more cognizant. I don't want to let him get any big advantages. So I reset there, preserving all my health. Now another thing is, I will have started... Well, I haven't leveled anything just yet, but in this matchup, I do believe I will level E. Now, in some of the top lane matchups, you can get away with leveling W first, but not into Aatrox, because Aatrox Q1, Q2, Q3 will absolutely destroy you in the trade. You will lose that every time. So you start E for safety, because you're just trying to get your early level 2, early level 3. You're trying to be alive in this lane. So he hits me with Q1, I push him away, and that makes the trade basically even. Again, a lot of this early game with BRIAR in the top lane, you're just trying to survive. You're just simply trying to get your levels, because once you get your levels, you can go absolutely crazy. So let's speed it up a little bit here. Basically, pretty typical laning experience. He's zoning me, is what it is. You dodge those, you gotta dodge those Qs. Gotta go in for a quick trade, W2, push away. Okay, still behind in levels. This is just how it's gonna be, okay? So, when you're playing solo lane BRIAR, it is imperative to know your matchups. So that was actually a very sketchy trade I went for there. He could have probably killed me if he was better about it. Yeah, if you don't know the matchups in and out in top lane or mid lane, you will get vibe checked every time. So there he hits me with the chain, pulls me back. I kind of lost that trade. But again, I didn't die from the trade, so we're just going to go ahead and call that awesome. And this is tough. So I go Ignite Teleport every game. Why? In my opinion, my humble opinion, BRIAR does not need Flash. Flash is worthless. All Flash does is go on cooldown. It does nothing for you. So BRIAR already has 3 dashes, and now she can ward hop away. So Flash becomes really useless. Ignite, however, is very helpful in these kind of 1v1s, and Teleport is the best spell in the game, hands down. Without Teleport, you can't win a game, in my opinion. You can't 1v9 a game without Teleport. So here, let's go ahead and go over this just for a moment. I'm just going to slow this one down. So if you look at my HP here, you think there's no way BRIAR wins this. And I don't actually know how I did win this, but let's check it out. So I'm looking at the cannon minion. I don't want to lose it. I don't want him to zone me off of it. So I actually Q to the cannon minion. W past his chain. I'm too close to him, so he can't really successfully hit his first Q. And then, boom, he flashes away. The bleed gets him. So that was really awesome. A little bit lucky, just that he's bad. But I also did play that pretty well. So these are the kind of things you want to look for. Is using your W to position out of their hitboxes. The beautiful thing about BRIAR is that she uses no mana. No energy bar. So you're free to just use your cooldowns at your discretion. So they really, the only point in not using a cooldown is to save it tactfully for an outplay or for the combat that you want to have. So you're never looking at energy resources. You're never looking at mana costs. So here I just go straight in. I'm just vibe checking him. I'm going to say, hey, what's up? Do you know how my champion works? He does. He starts hitting a bunch of Qs. I'm getting a little scared here, so I back up. He won that trade. It was pretty bad for me. Let's see how this plays out. And I came back with a Tunneler. So I like to get Tunneler first. It gives you a nice amount of health. Okay, his ult came up, so I'm running away. I'm just backing off. And this is looking really bad for me. Okay, I see him use Q. I heal off the minions. Okay, that's just to survive a little bit. W2 off minions, fully charge E to get them off the tower to give myself a little more HP. So I don't actually see Sejuani top here. I'm not very aware of the enemy jungler in general, so but she is top here. So this is a super scary situation for me. So I see him miss Q. And in early game, you can abuse Aatrox's Q a little bit, okay? It doesn't get her super small cooldown until later on, about level 11, you know, 16 definitely. So get a little bit of health there. He pulls me in with the chain. Now let's see what I do here. So I think I'm looking for him to waste Q cooldown one more time. He's zoning me. This is just typical BRIAR laning stuff. Just being patient. Okay, there's the Q. I see the Q go out. And then I go in. He hits me with the chain. I hold the W2 till really... Oh. For a long time I hold it. But... Boom, we predict the movement. We hit the R. Easy clappers. So wow, that was really well played on my part. So again, Aatrox is a super hard matchup. You know how many games I inted Aatrox to get to the point where I can make these subtle outplays? A lot. Okay, so if you're interested in doing solo lane BRIAR, but be it top, be it mid, or even ADC BRIAR, you're going to have to get used to losing a lot of games just in the pursuit of learning all the matchups, because there are a ton of matchups and there's a ton of nuance in each matchup. There's windows and openings that aren't immediately obvious. There's punishes that you won't know until you've played it a bunch of times. So yeah, knowledge is power. So here I just start going in. I have a little bit of an item advantage, so I'm just going in for some trades. I should be winning the trades, but you can see just from Aatrox's general strength, I'm not really coming out on top from these trades. Going kind of even. Trying to CS. Now, I'm not doing anything fancy with the wave management. I'm not, you know, freezing or... I'm not actually that talented. I'm really just thinking about cooldowns here. And it's important to play this early game kind of safe because you need to get your 2-item power spike. Your 2-item power spike is Spear of Shojin, Navori Blades. You get those 2 items, then you can start going a little crazy because your cooldowns will start to outpace basically anybody in the game. So there is no champion that's going to have lower cooldowns that are more impactful. In my personal opinion, I do believe this to be true. Let's go speed up a little bit. Going back to lane. So now I have ulti, or it should be coming off cooldown soon. So I'm starting to think about some skirmishes here. Okay, start a little skirmish. Let's slow this down. Okay, 3 of them chase me. How does this go down? Okay, I launched just a dead R right into Action. I kind of wasted my W there. I didn't need to dash. Didn't need to dodge anything. So they're peeling off Action really well. I die. Okay, that's unfortunate. But I did set up a little bit of a skirmish. My mid and jungle are able to kind of clean up a little bit of that. So, could have been worse for sure. Now they're on the grubs. Aatrox gets 1. I'm respawning. Let's see what I do here. Teleporting to the grub. Okay, so Aatrox has to back off. I get a grub. So, I mean, that's why I love teleport. You can make these kind of plays that you otherwise would never be able to make. So, really be creative about using your teleports, guys. Don't just use it to get back to lane. Don't just use it, you know, oh, I'm a little low health, I gotta go back, you know. No, you can use teleport for all sorts of things. If you're playing top lane, and especially on a champion like BRIAR, who's a disruptor, who's almost an assassin, a skirmisher, a brawler, you need to be active. You need to be making stuff happen. You need to be making the enemies rage quit. You need to be making the enemies mental go boom. And the best way to do that is to roam, roam, roam. Don't give up your lane to do it. Don't give up all your plates, but definitely roam and get active on the map, because it will put your team ahead. So here I'm just going for some classic bush cheese, waiting for him. A little bit of a trade. Not a great trade. You can see, whoa, that was into the wall. And, oh, another kill. So let's go ahead and rewatch that real quick. So, just classic. I hold that W2 into the wall, and there it is. So, and that all is because I was able to do that because I had Shojin. So we look at the uptime of these abilities. Let's check this fight out. So let's look at my cooldown bar here. So this is in slow motion. I'm basically just waiting for them to come up. Sidestep the chain. W1. Auto Q. Auto. I W2 a little bit early, not gonna lie. But look at these cooldowns. They're coming up every... Okay, E is up. Boom. Now, W's up again. So, you know, I'm doing 2 rounds of spells before Aatrox can even think about, you know, finishing his first round. So that's what the ability haste does for you. It creates windows of opportunity that your opponent is just completely not ready for, because BRIAR's cooldowns are already not very long. Her longest one is her E, and it's, you know, coincidentally maybe her most important cooldown. So if you can lower those cooldowns even more, you can create opportunities that the enemy is just, you know, quite frankly will be astounded by, because they're sitting there on their, you know, regular build waiting for their, you know, big lengthy cooldowns to come up, and you're already thinking about your next. Okay, I shoot one, boom, cross map ulti, and it's just easy stuff. So he probably could have dodged that if he was more skilled, but you know, you look for those angles. Anytime your ult's up, you've created pressure in your lane, you should be looking to do something else on the map, because you've already kind of won your lane. You've already killed your lane opponent. You've already cleared your wave. Is mid push up. So right there, I was looking at action, hit a snipe, and cleared up. Now Dragon's up. So I'm pretty strong. So I'm looking at Dragon. I want to help my boys here. So, yep, my cooldowns are going crazy. Let's go ahead and slow that down. Let's go ahead and check that fight one more time. So I'm pretty sure I carry this fight heavily. Mumu goes in, I back him up. Q on to Sedge. Okay, my whole team kind of responds pretty well there. But again, look at my cooldown. You can see this cooldown bar, and well, my camera's kind of in the way, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, just going crazy. Just absolutely going crazy with this build, man. So at this stage, I'm looking to finish my Flicker Blade second. I have a bounty. I'm able to push mid up. And at this point, we're pretty clearly setting the tempo for the whole top region of the map. I don't want to start Rift Herald because it's a waste of time. Just go back to my wave. Always use your W2 to heal up on the wave. Keep yourself full health. Okay, now I'm teleporting mid. Looks like he was going to push it down. I'm running in, using my super low cooldowns to just literally run both of them down. These guys, there was nothing they could do actually, because my cooldowns were so low. And that's without Flicker Blades. That is without Flicker Blades yet. Yeah, I don't even have it yet. So now that we've created a little space, we killed the mid laner, now we can look to waste all this time to do the Rift Herald. So, and yeah, when you're waiting for your E, oh, here my E was on cooldown, accidentally hit the grub. So I find when I'm playing BRIAR and I'm waiting for my E to be up, that is always the worst time because you have no agency, you have no control. If you're waiting for your E to come up, all you can do is Q. If you W, it's more than likely suicide a lot of times. Okay, I'm just launching mid. And this guy is just, wow, not even trying to dodge. So that's another free kill. So he flashes. I'm still going in. Oh, and my cooldowns are up. And they stay up. Because now I have my Flicker Blades. So now, look, W2. Okay, sorry. A little bit of an audio problem here. Some copyrighted music came up, so I'm going to narrate the rest of this game with a little desynced audio. That's my bad, guys. Still new to this whole YouTube thing. So anyway, as you can see, I totally smurfed that fight. Destroyed them all. Got my Flicker Blade online. And now we're just looking to pressure. Looking to close this game out. I'm going to take a quick reset here. At this point, the game is obviously basically won because we've already created all the space, and tempo, and pressure that we need to kind of just close this out. Every time the enemies would move up, I'd be there. You know, I'd be the boogeyman, there to shut them down. Oh, there we go. They just killed an ally. Looks like they got 2 picks. So I fall back. And I think I realize that Akshon's by himself, so I move up. Okay, I'm hitting him. And now I realize, right as I press that W, I realize, oh my god, there's 4 of them. But, I mean, just look at the rotations of spells. I mean, these guys are probably wondering what is going on. And that scuffed ult. Should have landed that one. But yeah, I mean, there we go. They went from picking 2 to getting completely picked. And that's almost 100% has to do with the fact that, well, my cooldowns are up all the time. I'm literally able to just run them down now. And unless the enemies are able to, you know, perfectly pin me down with all their spells and sync everything up together to one-shot me, that's what they'd have to do. So any little mistake that they make, I'm on top of them. I'm there, ready to punish them. And my champion drives itself. And the cool thing about this build, guys, is that you don't have to just, you know, build the items that I was mentioning earlier. The core of this build is Spear Shojin and Flicker Blades. Other than that, you can mix and match and add any item you want into this build. You can build Titanic Hydra if you want to go a little meta. You can build Heartsteel if you want scaling HP. You could build even, you know, Divine Sunder, things like that. Whatever you want, you can throw into this build. It'll all work. It'll all feel good. You know, the only thing that BRIAR can't effectively use is mana and mana regeneration. So every other stat she can use. Here I'm just sitting in a bush, waiting to shark, seeing if somebody will check it. Okay, I shoot another one. Oh, looks like I hit the mid. No, that's the support. Hit the support. Quick and easy little kill, and my W will be up again. W in, Q. He doesn't even have enough time to camouflage before I got him. Start running him down. Oh, Q to minion. Bummer. So yeah, they're trying to peel, you know, they're doing their best. One of them bought some Grievous, you can see. Some Grievous wounds. Won't matter. Because it's not really the healing that's carrying, is it? It's the constant damage, constant stuns, and just constant mayhem that my cooldowns are creating. It's not the fact that I'm healing a bunch, which I am. It's you know, a lot of other things that is why we're winning. So now I'm just kind of walking around, clearing waves. Alright, homeboy jumps in the whip. Smash. Alright, now I think I actually screw up here because I try to jump into the whip, but yeah. So that was a fail. My Moo kind of steps up a little bit far, gets popped. So in this situation, you know, the game does feel a little bit like it's on my back. I know I have some strong allies too, but when you're this far ahead, when you're carrying this hard, you really want to make a little bit safe decisions. You want to be able to push your advantage as hard as you can, making some psycho plays, but you also want to be alive. You don't want to die for no reason. So resetting is good. Finding a new angle is good. Now I'm just walking up mid. I mean, I'm strong enough. I'm basically looking for any fight I can take. Now they're turtling. They're scared. They realize that we're strong. I think I just start doing Baron here. Yep. This build does Baron really good. You can basically permanent W, permanent Q. WW2. And yeah, easy Baron. My team's all resetting because they're geniuses. That's awesome. Okay, now we just march it down mid. Should be a free win. Easy push.
Why, tell us something about yourself. I'll tell you a thing or two. It was really me that pinched the Pope from dangerous Dan McGrew. I'm Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane? I blazed the trail and rode the...
Alright, shooting an R. Looks like a miss. I'm just gonna go top, get some top pressure going. I got the Baron buff, so you want to spread that Baron buff out across the lanes when you can. And I think here is where I start to see that they're about to collapse 5 versus 4. So I teleport right into the middle, and I shut down that whatever they were trying to do. I shut it down. No sir. And now my team is fed enough that, you know, maybe they didn't even need me there. And yeah, we're just pushing to win. Yep, they're trying their best. I'm just there to zone, look pretty. There you have it. Alright guys, well, that's how you win a game with this build. So let me know if you guys, you know, want to try this build. Shout out in the comments. Let me know if you have tried it. I know some people have been trying. I've been seeing people post the screenshots of their match histories and their pop-offs. I've been seeing all sorts of ranks do well with this build. And yeah, try it out if you want to have a good ass time. It's a lot of fun. It is a high tempo, high octane game. And thanks for tuning in. And that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching the video. Love you guys. Navorikickblades out. Next videos that I'll be coming out with, I'll be trying to make more videos. And